Hi everyone. Just a brief introduction. My name is Khaya Ahmed. I am from Pakistan and I am a writer and a game designer on the narrative side, that is. Um, I have been working in the gaming industry for about 4 to 5 years now, but my overall writing experience is pretty vast. I've been writing since I was, 15? And I've worked on numerous titles, including a consultation for Marvel on Miss Marvel. I worked on the Emmy nominated and Eisner winning TV series for kids called Burka Avenger. I've launched numerous comics and I have done a lot of other things in the middle, many things. But most notably, I recently worked on this amazing game called Destruction All Stars, which is coming soon on PS5 actually this February. So very excited. My first global AAA title. So yeah, that is something I'm very proud of in my list of accomplishments. You know, something that I really want to talk about, something that has I've been gaming for a while now. I've loved games ever since I was a kid. My first console was a Sega NES, and I love games. My parents introduced me to Mario. I loved playing Sonic with my cousins. I was not allowed to play Mortal Kombat, but that didn't stop me when I was like 7 or 8. But one thing that everybody kept telling me, especially when I started thinking of writing as a career in games, is that the best thing about video games, Khaya, is that you're in the center of it. Whereas in TV or in movies, you're not. In video games, you're the hero. It's your story. You can control what's happening rather than just watching it happen. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That I never thought of it like that. And then I thought a bit deeper, and I realized that wait a second, I may be the hero of my story, but I've never really seen myself. I've never really seen a Muslim protagonist in a game. In fact, the only time I've seen Muslims represented in games are as these negative, violent, inhumane characters. And that really stuck with me, which is why I wanted to have this talk today about how important diverse characters are in video games, but not diversity for the sake of diversity. So when I set out to do this talk, and when I decided that this is going to be my the tagline of my talk, I went on a little Google spree. I Googled list of Middle Eastern characters in games. This was the result I got. Yeah, Genie. There was a list of Middle Eastern game characters, and Genie was at the top. It shocked me because there's been, and there was a lot of articles about how there are so many which is South Asian, Middle Eastern game developers. There's such a big audience in South Asia and the Middle East. But when I looked at the character roster, they it didn't reflect that. And there's been a call for diversity over these past few years, and we've seen emerging game devs, we've seen visibility, but we still don't see ourselves. And it just, whenever we see ourselves, it's just shoehorned in, and that doesn't sit well with me. Every time I give a talk on characters or on character creation, I always put this in front. I always say, this is how you craft a strong character, and this is what was taught to me by so many others, and this is what so many writers adhere to. Motivation, connections, history and quirks, conflict, give them a personality. Why is it that when it comes to representing diverse characters, that this is not in place? They're just, what makes them special is taken out, or rather not taken out, it's actually not given the love or the attention it deserves. They're just there, and the diversity is stacked on at the end as an afterthought. It's not the driving force. you may say the character is a Muslim, or you may say the character is a Pakistani, but do they really feel Pakistani? Do they really feel Muslim? There have been some really good instances of diverse same characters. I'm going to use that term a lot because as someone from that region, I feel like it's something that I can talk about. I don't want to tread on any toes. So this is something that I can talk about and feel comfortable talking about. Arbaz was a really good character. It was characters like the assassins, and you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. They have been given this platform, but they haven't been given enough platform. But they are quite rich when it comes to their characters. And then we have these two. I know I said I was going to talk about characters outside of the same scope, but I just had to put in Miles because of how he has resonated as of late with so many people of color. And as a Black character, as a Latina character, he's also, funny enough, resonated so much with the Muslims on the spectrum. It's a very interesting thing. When I talk to people here, his story has resonated. Why? Because these characters are human. These characters carry their diverseness, what makes them special, what makes them diverse. They wear it on their sleeve, and it's organically written. It's not just an afterthought. It's not just, oh, hey, how about we make this person who was probably white before, let's make them brown, and keep all the characteristics of a white person, but on a brown body. It doesn't make sense. And in doing so, it becomes a bit dangerous, actually. It perpetuates a lot of stereotypes. It perpetuates a lot of preconceived notions. I've personally witnessed them. People say, "Oh, wait, you're not like that person we saw on TV." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's not how it is, guys." But what is interesting about these two characters? We have a female Muslim Pakistani representation here, but she's not an original character. She's she's been taken, as is Miles, from previous lore and have been adapted into the video game spectrum, right? So we often fall into a trap. And I'm going to give an example here of myself. I was working on this title recently, and I was tasked with writing a Pakistani male character who happened to be hailing from Peshawar. He was a Pathan, as am I. I am from Pakistan, and I am half Pathan, half Punjabi. So it was like a shoe-in. This character was given to me because of my knowledge, because of my connection, and because I could do that character justice. And I fell into the trap of whitewashing my own character. Every time I would write dialogues for the character, I would whitewash them. I would make them palatable. I don't think the global audience would like this, and I would just erase a little bit of the heritage, a little bit of the quirks. There's this thing that we do, Pakistanis especially do. We say the word yar, which is like, oh man. It's like, oh, yar. And I would write that as a dialogue, and I'd be like, no, move it. Make him say, oh man. And it came to that point where, one of the producers came up to me and was like, Khaya, we don't feel like this character is Pakistani enough. I'm like, wait a minute, I own him. I'm a Pakistani. And they're like, no, it just feels restrictive. And this is something a lot of writers fall into, especially when you're writing for a global audience, especially when you are afraid of some backlash, or when you're afraid of how they will be perceived. You kind of tone down and take away the essence of what that character would be. And I think that is something we as writers need to be brave about. We need to be like, no, if we love our characters, people are going to love our characters. Fine, there'll be people who don't like them, but they're going to resonate with people like us. And, we're not small in number, I think we need to stop internalizing and internally catering to just that one group that is at the forefront. We need to kind of take a step back and say, no. let's cater to ourselves as well, because we're not a small demographic. We've got the graphs to prove that. So I think it's really important that we, when we're crafting our characters, we don't just say, we're given briefs as writers by producers, by our directors, and even when we're making our own games, that okay, these are the characters that need to be there, and sometimes we're given that opportunity to include diversity. But whether you're Muslim writing a Muslim character, or whether you're a Muslim writing a non-Muslim character, but someone who is diverse, someone who's from a different background than you, I think it's very important to do your research. And that's where a lot of writers, I feel, myself included, actually, we get lazy. We just think it's not worth it at times. We think that, the deadlines are too short, it's not realistic. But I think we need to take a step back. When you're writing a character, it's very, very important that you show that character's backstory to someone from that region. And you ask them what they think about it. And that will make such a huge difference, because they'll imbue that life. They'll imbue those quirks that you may have overlooked. And that's why we have people like we have consultations, we have people that we reach out to. And listen, I know it seems weird that just messaging someone random who you don't know and asking, hey, would you like to take a look at my character? But trust me, people are waiting. They want to be represented so bad that if you give them that opportunity to read something about themselves, they will jump at the opportunity to help you just so they can see themselves on screen. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing daunting. But I feel like, and especially my advice to writers, if you're starting out in the industry, and even if you're in the industry right now, is please, please, please reach out to people who you're writing about. Talk to them, research on them, respect them. I think it is very important. You can't say that, oh, I wrote this character, oh, good job. No. You respect them. You respect your characters, you respect where your characters have come from, and then you love them. I always say that my characters are like my children, and yeah, they are my children. And I love each and every one of them, because I have taken that time. I have taken that time to, honor their backstories, give them agency, give them love. And it shows, because people connect to those characters, and people who you don't expect to connect to those characters. And I think that's really, really important, and sometimes overlooked in games. And we've seen game characters make strides in the LGBT community, in the mental health and disability community. But there's still a lot of gaps that need to be filled out. And a game is only as strong as its story, and the story is only as strong as its characters. Once you build those blocks, you've got a great game. But if you just shove a block in there for the sake of shoving a block in there, and I can name so many examples, but I won't, but you know exactly which examples, you can expect them in your mind as I'm talking about all of this. You know something's coming in your mind, you're like, oh wait, yeah, I know what she's talking about. I know which game she's talking about. I know which movie she's talking about. I know which TV show she's talking about. Where, people pat themselves on the back for the bare minimum, but at the end, that bare minimum is so forgettable. And if you want to make something truly unforgettable, something that resonates with the audience, something that drives them to play that game over and over again, get attached, look forward to the sequels, look forward to the world, build their own story using that world or using the characters that you've given them. It's very, very important that you don't shoehorn that block in. It's very important that you use that block as a building block, as a foundation, and then you build your structure on top of that foundation. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't check boxes. Build your boxes, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much it. If you have any further questions, if you need any help, or if you want any writing resources, please reach out to me. I would love to help you guys. You can reach me on my Twitter, and I will love to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you so much.